Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a scenario that absolutely none of us ever want to deal with, but let's be real, almost all of us need to be prepared for. We're talking about navigating the chaotic, incredibly overwhelming aftermath of a car crash. Literally, in the blink of an eye, you can find yourself totally thrust into this complex web of medical, financial, and legal hurdles. But don't stress, because today we are turning that panic into serious preparedness. We're going to break down exactly how to survive the aftermath of an accident and protect yourself from all those hidden pitfalls along the way. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to genuinely ask yourself a question right now. If you got into a collision today, like right this second, do you know exactly what to do in those critical first 5 minutes? When your adrenaline is just pumping and the confusion sets in, relying on your instinct alone can actually compromise your safety and your future financial recovery. Those first few moments literally dictate everything that comes next. To get us fully prepared, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the immediate post-crash survival checklist. Then, costly mistakes to avoid. We'll move into navigating auto insurance claims, bridging the insurance gap, uncovering the diminished value secret, and finally, protecting your legal rights. All right, jumping right into section 1, immediate post-crash survival checklist. So, step 1 is always about life and safety. You've got to assess injuries and offer first aid if you can. Step 2, if your car is actually drivable, get it out of traffic and dial 911 right away. Step 3 is just about compliance. Exchange only the basic info, your name and your insurance details. Don't overshare. And finally, step 4, this is where you put on your detective hat. Take wide photos, get close-ups, jot down the weather conditions, and definitely grab contact info from any witnesses before they take off. Doing this whole sequence, it keeps you physically safe while perfectly laying the groundwork for any claims later on. Moving on to section 2, costly mistakes to avoid. So the crucial point here is that knowing what to do is really only half the battle. Knowing what not to do, that's where so many drivers accidentally wreck their own case. I mean, it is totally human nature to want to just say, I'm sorry when you see someone distressed, right? But legally, saying I'm sorry can totally be twisted into an admission of fault. And skipping the police report just because it's a minor fender bender, that is a massive error. Without that official report, it's literally just your word against theirs. Under comparative negligence laws, skipping that step immediately dumps the heavy burden of proof right onto your shoulders. Just stick to the facts and let the authorities figure out who is at fault. Up next is section 3, navigating auto insurance claims. Okay, once the scene is physically cleared, you enter the money phase. Now, the good news is you aren't doing this totally alone. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners, or the NAIC, is the standard-setting organization made up of state insurance regulators. Their main job is to protect you, the consumer, and make sure you're treated fairly in the marketplace. They actually set the best practices that your insurance company is legally bound to follow during the claims process. But you guys, here is a term you absolutely must wrap your head around: actual cash value, or ACV. If your car is completely totaled, the insurer is going to offer you a payout based on what they calculate as the ACV, which is the market value of your car literally seconds before the crash. Listen to me on this one. Accepting their very first ACV offer without double-checking it is a huge mistake. That one number dictates the entire financial baseline of your settlement. If they lowball you there, it causes a total cascading financial disaster for you. Which brings us right into section 4, bridging the insurance gap. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the very dangerous financial void between what your wrecked car is currently worth and what you might still owe the bank. Here's a harsh reality check. Gap insurance doesn't actually cut you a check. If your ACV payout is lower than your loan balance, you could literally be stuck paying a loan on a car that's sitting in a junkyard. Gap insurance swoops in and pays the difference directly to your lender. Its sole mission is basically to protect your credit and your wallet from debt you can't even drive. Let's walk through the actual math here because it is super eye-opening. Say you owe $31,500 on your auto loan. The crash happens, and the insurance company says your ACV is $26,000. Without gap insurance, you are legally on the hook to pay that $5,500 shortfall out of your own pocket for a car you don't even have. But if you have gap insurance, the policy steps up and covers that $5,500 difference completely. It wipes the slate clean, leaving you with a $0 balance and saving you from a massive financial headache. All right, section 5, the diminished value secret. So what if your car wasn't totaled? What if it was just badly damaged but perfectly repaired? Well, this brilliantly illustrates a hidden financial loss that most people completely miss. There are three distinct ways a car bleeds value after a crash. You've got immediate diminished value right after the accident. You've got repair-related value lost from, maybe some shoddy mechanical fixes. And then there's the big one right in the middle, inherent diminished value. That's the one we really need to focus on today. Inherent diminished value is often called stigma damage. Just picture this. You're walking onto a used car lot, and there are two identical cars right in front of you. Same make, same models, same exact miles. But the dealer tells you, hey, this one was in a major wreck but got fixed perfectly, and this other one has a spotless history. Which one are you willing to pay more for? The clean one for sure. That drop in market value on the repaired car, just because it has that accident history stigma, is inherent diminished value, and it's a loss you can absolutely see compensation for. Let's move to our final section, Section 6, protecting your legal rights. Let's see how this builds, because knowing the financial rules is incredibly empowering, but it means absolutely zero if your legal window of opportunity just slams shut. Time is strictly regulated in the legal world, and the state you live in wildly dictates your deadline to file a claim, which is known as the statute of limitations. Take Pennsylvania, for instance. You get exactly 2 years from the day of the crash. Over in North Carolina, you get 3 years. But if you miss that deadline by literally one single day, your right to get paid is permanently gone, no matter how bulletproof your case is. And while that clock is ticking down, you have to protect your case in a totally modern arena, social media. Take a look at John's mistake here. He claimed severe neck injuries after a crash, right? But then he goes and posts photos of himself on a hiking trip just weeks later. The defense lawyers found those pictures absolutely destroyed his credibility and tanked his settlement. Now compare that to Sarah's strategy. She got injured, immediately locked down all her profiles to private, and stayed completely silent online about her life and her recovery. Because she controlled the narrative, she secured her full settlement. Guys, your digital footprint is permanent, and you better believe the defense is always watching. Wow. We have covered so much ground in today's explainer, from those frantic first 5 minutes on the side of the road to the complex math of gap insurance and the hidden reality of stigma damage. So I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. If an accident happens tomorrow, are your wallet and your digital footprint fully protected? Seriously, take 10 minutes today, check your insurance policies, and audit those privacy settings. Preparation is what turns a massive crisis into a minor inconvenience. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay safe out there on the roads and keep learning.